welcome to the Skeins of Dreams YouTube channel. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you have a project of your choice and a beverage of your choice, and you're ready for all the things that I'm going to talk about. This is meant to be my February making update. I do have knitting today, and lots of knitting, by the way, and I do have a few finished sewing garments, so I am ready to share all of those things with you. It's a nice and sunny day in Pittsburgh, and it's a Saturday, I think the 28th of February. And yeah, let's get started. So by the way, just in case you're here only for the sewing content, I do have chapters and you can skip directly to that, but yeah, I'll start with the knitting first and then I'll move on to the sewing. So depending on what you want to watch, please do check out the chapters underneath the video. All right, so knitting. I have finished objects, one garment that you can see, and a couple small items that I don't have with me, and so I'll just put some pictures if I'm able to, but let's get started with my beautiful Voe Vest. So I'm wearing my Voe Vest. This is a pattern or a design by Mary Jane Mucklestone. It's a traditional Shetland or stranded colorwork, I guess, and I have been knitting on this since the beginning of January, maybe. I will say that I finished knitting quite soon, but I procrastinated the finishing. The finishing itself, I wasn't like lazy to do it. It's just, it feels like I have to be in the right frame of mind. I wanted to record the process, so I needed good lighting. I didn't want to do it in the evening. This is the second garment I have ever steeked. The first one I made was years ago, like almost 5-6 years ago. And since then I did not make as many steeked items for various reasons, but mostly choosing colorwork or choosing colors for so many different like color options is definitely daunting, and I think I've put it off long enough because I felt that choosing colors was the most difficult path, but I feel like unless I do a few of them, I don't learn. So it's a chicken and egg like with everything else. So I decided I'm just gonna go for it because I have a lot of things in my dream knitting or knitting queue that are colorwork, but I never get to them because I make these singular activities to be the, I don't know, high activation energy required for my brain. Anyway, so I made the 48 or 49 inch size on the Voe Vest. I'm gonna put pictures of me wearing it. I'm not gonna stand up right now. I'm so proud of this particular garment, and it was so much fun knitting it. I think like stranded colorwork just knits itself because of the chart you have to follow and you just want to get to the next row and everything. So it was a lot of fun to make this, and then when you get to the decreases, it actually goes pretty fast, especially with vests. I think one of the other reasons I had stopped knitting a lot of colorwork was that I moved to Pittsburgh and I felt like it's not as cold here as it used to be in Buffalo, and I felt like colorwork garments, because of the double layer, would be too thick. But I think with the fingering, double layer, and then like a vest like this, like today I think it's like 50 degrees outside, so it's pretty warm for a sweater. Maybe not, but I'm happy, like I'm comfortable wearing it inside the house, and I have been enjoying layering my vests with long sleeve t-shirts. I think this one is just from Old Navy. I've had it for like 4 years. Old Navy basics are really good, at least if you're in the US. So what else? Oh, so I did do needle felting for finishing this particular vest. I'm gonna put a footage of me finishing the vest right here.
At this stage, I had finished knitting everything and I just had the steeks to cut to finish the rest of the vest. So I first started by steam blocking the steeks especially because I wanted them to be nice and neat before I started cutting. And here I go with the steeks. I had finished cutting the neck steek and this is what I'm showing you at this stage. The steek folds in pretty well and that's what I'm going to use when I pick up stitches for the neckband and the arm bands. To pick up stitches, I fold the steek towards the back and then put my needle underneath the two ladders of a stitch, of the edge stitch, and then pick up a stitch. I think I picked this technique up from Ellie, who is Reindeer Knits on YouTube. This is how I pick up the stitches for all my steeks and it makes sure the steek lies towards the back. Once I knit the arm bands and the neckband, it was time to finish the steeks. I cut the steeks to be a bit shorter than 4 stitches, so I'm aiming for a 2-stitch steek so that I can finish it and it wouldn't add too much bulk. I picked up some needle felting materials from Felted Sky. So this is the multi-needle felting tool and I have a felted wool base that I'm going to use. This is serious stuff. I wish I had bought a larger base. I think the base was too small. So here you can see my unfelted steek. I put it on the base and then I try and felt it. I was checking to see if the felting was going well and I could see the steek had already started felting a bit. If you're doing the same thing that I'm doing here, you need to be very careful with your left hand. I managed to felt all my steeks and the vest was complete.
So as you can see, I needle felted it. The needle felting kit I purchased was from Felted Sky, as I might have mentioned. I will say that I should not have gone for such a serious needle felting kit. I should have bought one of those clover ones that have like a guard around the sharp needles, because I definitely did hurt myself in the process. I have been cooking for a really long time. Like I used to cook even as a teenager, and I'm not kidding, I cut myself every time I pick up a knife. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Every 5th time I pick up a knife, I cut myself. So I don't trust myself with sharp objects, and I should have thought of that when I bought the needle felting kit. And also that I did anticipate how much of the base I would need. So I think the mid-size base was not available, so I bought like the micro size, and I feel like that's a little too small, or I have to figure out a way to hold it down because I need to hold it with one hand while I do, or I should just wear like my safety Kevlar gloves or something while I'm doing this activity. It felt a little too violent to me when you're doing the whole slow making and making your own clothes. I don't know, maybe I'm just being kind of stupid. I think next time I do want to try other techniques to figure out which ones I like the most. The first garment I had steeked, I put a ribbon, I sewed a ribbon down to cover the steek. And I definitely have made another. Actually, this is my 3rd steek. I forgot I gave away one cardigan because it was too itchy. And in that I had done like a double band where I had protected the steek by just like tacking the ribbing over. So you rib and you rib forever, and then you turn it back and then you tack it down so your steek gets enclosed in your ribbing. I had done that for one garment. I was very proud of that finished cardigan, but it never fit me well. The wool was too scratchy. So there was like this one Rhinebeck, I think one of the Indie Untangled festivals, they have like a table you can leave something you don't want, like knitted stuff, and then you can take whatever you need because people have left their stuff. So I think I gave that cardigan away over there, and I hope whoever picked it up is enjoying it thoroughly. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I do want to try other methods of finishing my steeks. I have been rewatching Mel's videos. Mel Makes Stuff. She does a lot of color work, and she has so many beautiful videos, past videos. So I've been rewatching them, especially because she started podcasting again. I kind of like went back and watched some of her older ones as well, because I wanted some ideas on how else I can finish my steeked garments. I'm just gonna turn this around, but you would have already seen in the video. So that's basically the felted portion. The steek doesn't even lift off anymore because it's felted. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Super proud of this particular make. Yeah, I'm basically on a colorwork kick right now. I feel like I have unlocked some sort of a skill set or unblocked some mental blocks, whatever. So I'm doing a lot of color work now, and it's giving me a lot of joy. And if you remember this, if you watched my previous episode, the yarns I used are like different yarns from my stash. The main color and the kind of the yellow gold in the middle, they are that's the Wisconsin Blackberry Ridge Woolen Mill, Wisconsin Woolen Mill, like it, I forget where it is in Wisconsin, but I've bought their yarn in the past, and I really enjoy knitting with their yarn. And this is their fingering, 4-ply, I think. It's not 4-ply, I think it's 2-ply, but fingering. And then some of it is Jamieson's, and some of it is Nash Island yarn, which I bought at Rhinebeck a couple years ago. And then the purple one is forget it's the yarn I'm giving away this episode, and I'm forgetting. Rambler. It's the Rambler yarn by the Woolly Thistle. And last episode I had said I would give away this particular skein to a winner. So I did pick winners, and you can see their names on the screen here. Please don't listen to anyone else. You know, sometimes they scam you by like responding to your comment and saying that you won, but the two names that have actually won are on the screen here. I think Elizabeth Ryan and Margot Faye are the names. I will be contacting you, Elizabeth. I will be sending this your way, and along with a gift card to either Woolly Thistle or any other yarn store that you'd like to receive a gift card from. And Margot, I will be sending you a gift card from Woolly Thistle or any other store that you like. So I decided, because so many of you gave me such lovely comments, and I had such a blast reading what everybody is working on, and it definitely added a few patterns to my queue. So congratulations to the winner, and thank you so much to the winners, and thank you so much for playing along with my little giveaway. So this Lupin color Rambler yarn is the purple in kind of the muted background, and I'm super happy how the whole vest worked out. I decided to pull out one of the small, like one of the contrast colors by pairing it with this maroon vest. This color is actually more plum, like it's not a red based, it's more like a purpley pink base. But once you wear it with like this similar color-ish base, you don't even realize that that's supposed to be a dark plum pink, not maroon. But anyway, I do have a shirt planned to sew that will also look really nice with this. So I have been trying it out with a few shirts in my wardrobe. I think with shirts, if I want to keep the shirt untucked, the length of the vest versus the length of the shirt has to go. And I think this vest is currently too short to wear with some of the shirts that I have because I've sewn them longer. But if I tuck the shirt in and the vest is the only thing you see with the trousers, then it looks fine, of course, which is what this looks like. And you've seen that. I must have put a bunch of pictures of me wearing it. I had a blast taking pictures for this as well. And I will talk about the jeans that I'm wearing in that picture during the sewing portion of this episode. So I hope I've covered everything about the Voe Vest. I don't know, did I miss anything? I think it's all good. Super happy. All right, now let's move on. Otherwise I start rambling. The next we're still talking finished objects. I forgot. So a couple smaller finished objects that I have. I made a tiny baby hat for one of my friends. Her son is 16 months old, and I made him a blue hat for Christmas, and he wears that all the time and looks amazing in it. So I decided that he needs a red hat for Valentine's Day. Sorry, there's like fuzz all over my face. Anyway, I made him a red hat for Valentine's Day using some, actually I have the leftover here. So this is Cascade 220 Superwash. So I knit the hat for him in this color. I'll put a picture of the hat that I made. I usually end up making the Pearl Soho Classic ribbed hat. I really enjoy making that pattern, and it works well for all ages because it has multiple ages. The pattern has. That's what I've made for my friend's little baby. Okay, the next finished object is one of my other friends. She asked me for a pair of fingerless mitts. She first asked me for a pair of gloves. I sort of convinced her that gloves are a bit too tedious and she won't have access to her fingers if she wants to use her phone and everything. It was just my way of convincing her so I didn't have to knit fingers. So she wanted a pair of fingerless gloves or mitts, and I don't know why this project took me forever. It took me like 3 weeks to get a pair done because I started a pair which was just stockinette, and then I realized it didn't have enough layering in the back to prevent like air from going in. So I usually like having a pattern at least in the back so it's not like too see-through, because I don't like to knit such small circumference super tight and everything. Like, you know, some of those gloves that are like armor, like I can't do that. My hands will be too much in pain. And then I decided, okay, maybe I should do Colorwork, and she has dogs and she's really into dogs. So I started making this little dog mitt. I just got like this Colorwork pattern for a dog paw from Pinterest, and I incorporated it. But to be honest, I don't know why, but I find this looks very ugly, and I think it was a bit too tight. Like it fits me, like I can put my hand in, but I think I have had this happen to me before where I've made a glove a bit too tight and you feel like it's snug, but then it starts hurting your hand. It's very odd. Like the glove you should not feel any pressure on your hand, in my opinion. Like I don't like compression gloves, right? So you shouldn't feel any pressure. They should just exist a little around your hand. And I feel like those are the most comfortable because I've gone through this with my own gloves, or I'm saying gloves, but I mean fingerless mitts. So this turned out a bit too tight and I wasn't happy with the color combination. It was a whole thing. Like I was being so dramatic about the whole thing. And then my friend and I, the same friend who asked for them, we went on a work trip this past Monday. And the work trip was supposed to be from Monday to Wednesday. Like we left first thing Monday morning and we were returning in the last flight on Wednesday. and we went on a work trip together, and I decided, what is the best way to get these gloves done or fingerless mitts done is to not have any other project on me. So I didn't take anything else. Well, I took a sock, but I cast on the fingerless mitts during this 7 a.m. flight that we had Monday morning, and I cast them off in the return flight while we're coming back home, and I just gave them to her on the flight. Like, I didn't even block them. I wove the ends in, and I asked her to snip the ends close to where she can see them. So they got done, and I gifted it to her immediately. And I used Fiber Company Lore, which is 100% lamb's wool in this beautiful gray color. I still have enough to make another pair actually, and I made so I have a recipe of fingerless mitts that I really love. I think I've ended up landing on the recipe based on all the other ones that I tried before, and I feel like I'm a little lazy about every project that is not a garment. Like, I don't want to think too much. If it's a hat, I'll make the classic ribbed hat. If it's a sock, I'll make like a vanilla sock. If it's a fingerless mitt, I'll just make the same one I always make. And I've made this recipe of mine for fingerless mitts with DK yarn before for myself. And I made that like 3 years ago, and I still wear it. I can't live without them during the winter. And I made the same design for Baljeet. I think I made a little bit of an improvement on his version, but I made one for him a couple years ago, and he wears them when he's driving the car and everything. And I made the same pattern for my friend finally because it's tried and tested, and I don't have to think too much. It has 3 cables on the back, and I don't have a very good picture of it. I'll put the picture that I have, which I took in like a hotel room in horrible lighting, but trust me, they're wonderful. She's been wearing them every single day. I did ask her to send me a picture. So if she ends up sending me a picture, then you're seeing a better picture than a hotel room picture. So that was my third finished object, I guess, and it got done in 2 days, and I procrastinated I didn't procrastinate, but I went through this dramatic thing of trying a bunch of things before landing on the one that I always make. If you want the recipe, I will link the Ravelry project page below. If you have any questions, and because the recipe is too bare bones, let me know. And I could write it up a little better and send it to you if you'd like. But it's just a simple fingerless mitt pattern that has worked for me and people around me in the past. All right, those were all the finished objects. And now we'll move on to a whip parade because I cast on everything under the sun. The first work in progress, oh my god, I'm again in the middle of a row. If you watched my previous episode, you have seen this particular cardigan. So this is the Perseids Cardigan by Heidi Kiermaier. I am knitting this in a farm alpaca yarn that I bought at Rhinebeck a couple years ago. It's looking really nice. You do the button band while you're knitting the thing, so it basically requires no finishing, and it has like a simple lace pattern, and it looks really pretty. Now, the reason I haven't finished this is this yarn on metal needles hurts my hands. I almost developed some sort of a repetitive stress injury almost. And I had to take a break from knitting for 2 whole days because everything I was knitting on had alpaca in it, and I was knitting it all on metal needles, and they were the needles of the same size. I typically like to combine projects which have different like a metal needle, one is wood, and then have some difference in the sizing. Like if I'm knitting on US 2, I'd like the other project to be US 5 or 7 or something like that. So it kind of moves different muscles in my hands. But I forgot that rule and gave myself kind of a injury. But after 2 days, and I took that opportunity to cast on another project, by the way. So this one has been really slow going because of that. I have done a considerable amount, and if you were here last time, I did not have the exact amount of yarn needed. Like, I have less yarn than it calls for. But now as I'm knitting this, I'm almost wondering if I should just pick up the sleeves and do like a ribbing right here and make this longer so that it's like a vest but like drapey long cardigan, as long as I can get it. And I think I want to do that. But to be able to do that, because my bust measurement is closer to 46 inches, but my hips are 51 inches. So I have to make a lot of increases so that it doesn't like look too tight around my hips. So I'm gonna try it on. I'm gonna put it on 2 needles, try it on and see if I've done enough, because I've been doing some increases over here, but I'm gonna see if they're enough based on where it hits me. Plus it's alpaca, maybe it'll block out a bit, but I might do some more increases and then see where this ends up. But I am so happy with this particular cardigan, and the yarn is beautiful, and the yarn actually has alpaca, bamboo, silk, and some other wools, and I feel like the bamboo, silk, alpaca combination on the metal needles, it's just, and it's funny, I knit on a lot of other things and I'm fine, and the moment I knit on this, my hands scream in like 2 rows. So I've been knitting like 2 rows on it every other day or every 3rd day or something like that. So I'm making progress, but it's slow going. I'm not in a hurry, so it's okay. I do definitely enjoy it, and the color is so beautiful. So I'm still committed to not abandoning it, especially after having so much done, which is another reason I'm like, maybe I should not knit a sleeve on this, because the small circumference also will make me a bit unhappy. So that's why I'm inclined to just bind off the sleeve and then just knit it long. But very happy with this. Heidi's patterns are always amazing. I did make a modification. I did increase the armhole depth. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've done that on a couple of Heidi's sweaters, and I think it's the size I pick, because if you are knitting something that is drop shoulder and your drop shoulder is here, then sure, you just have a small armhole depth because you only need to knit the sleeve, right? But I choose sizes that are closer to just a bit beyond my shoulder, because my shoulders are like 43 inches. So I choose a size which may have only like 3 inches extra on either side. And when I do that, I kind of have to knit the armhole depth a bit longer, because it's not over here, but it's over here where I need more space for movement as well. So I did increase the armhole depth, but this pattern actually tells you that look at the depth and decide where you want to join the body. It's that classic cast on the back, knit the back, armhole shaping, then pick up the fronts, knit the front, and then armhole shaping. So that was the Perseids cardigan. And if you were here last time, you know that I went on a Heidi Kirmaier kick. And I had cast on the modern twist sweater, which was a finished object for myself in the last episode, but then I cast on one for my friend, and I have made significant progress. I did have to stop on this when my hands were hurting, so I didn't finish it yet, but I have finished one sleeve, and I have the second sleeve to knit, and it's gonna be done super soon. And I'm gonna knit like a turtleneck for the neckline, but I only have this one skein and this little nugget, and I'm worried that I don't have enough, but I ordered it from Wool & Company. I think I can just get more, but I'm really enjoying knitting this sweater again. It's such a nice pattern, and just the cables makes it so potato chippy, because you always are waiting for the next cable turn, and so it makes it really easy to knit. When I had done the sleeve just about until here, we had gone to see these friends of ours, and I had her try it on, and it looks perfect. So I'm so happy that this is getting done. This is Barocco Ultra Alpaca in the color Eider Down, and I knit the size small for my friend. I'm super excited to block this out and see how it looks, because the cables tend to like just cinch it in quite a bit, but it's looking really nice, and I think my friend will be super happy, though I have to explain to her how to wash and block it. I mean, I'm gonna do it the first time, but the next time she wants to wash it, because I had to tell her a bunch of times that you cannot put this in the washer. So that is the modern twist sweater. I don't have much to say about it. I did talk a bunch more about it in my previous episode because it was a finished object for myself. I did also increase the length of the armhole depth for my friend. I made her take out a sweater in her wardrobe currently that she likes the fit of and measure like the depth of the armhole, and then I adjusted it accordingly. And when she tried it on, it looks really good on her, so I'm super happy with it. So that's that. And then I signed up for a test knit. So Gudrun Johnson is coming out with a new book with, I think, in collaboration with Lina magazine, which is all about vests. And she put out a test knit call for multiple vests in that book. So I obviously, since my colorwork crazy, signed up for the Fair Isle vest. Fair Isle, that's the classic Fair Isle is what I wanted to say, and I said something else. So I signed up for the Fair Isle vest, and I absolutely loved her version of it. So to pick colors, once we had the pattern, I went onto Pinterest, and I like doing this a lot for colorwork vests I like doing it a lot for generally color schemes and other colorwork sweaters which just have like a colorwork yoke or something. I'll go to Pinterest and I'll look for color palettes, and they'll kind of give you images of what colors go together. And sometimes, you can't think beyond, like usually you take inspiration from some image that you see and you like the aesthetics, and like you might have a bag that has a few colors together and you're like, oh, this looks so cool. So to do that, like sometimes I go on Pinterest and find like pictures for inspiration. So I sometimes also just look for color palettes. So Pinterest has a bunch of those. So I found the color palette that I really liked, and I'll put it on the screen here. And then based on the color palette, like I'll use that as a starting point, and then I'll start putting colors together. And sometimes I deviate, but it at least gives me like a kickoff point, right? So I ended up choosing a few colors for this particular vest, and basically this dark green being my main color, and then the pink and orange and purple. It is purple, like indigo, like you can't really see that much, but I had done this, and you can see there's two colors here, but basically this is what I had done before. And I felt like, while this is a nice palette, like I don't have any issues with it, I felt like I was going for a moodier look, and this lightness was not my favorite. So what I was doing was duplicate stitching with a few other color options to see what I liked. I know it's a little small and messy for anyone else to understand what was going on. Like I even duplicate stitched here to see if I wanted to change out the pink to something else, because Gudrun has a more softer transition. Like I did the pink to orange, but she had like a softer transition, so it's almost fading into the two colors. But me being me, I wanted a very stark, or like I wanted to use saturated colors but like moody. So then after doing a bunch of that, this is where I've landed. Okay, so you can see that light color I switched out for a red to make it a bit more moody, and I am so happy with this one. I cannot explain. when I had just knit up until here, I was still doubting it, but when I got this pop, the oyster, which is like a very light pink back, and started the motif, the next portion of the motif, I realized how well balanced the colors look to my eye. It's a very personal preference, I want to say, but I am so pleased with it. And Gudrun said that it's okay to show like sneak peeks of it, but not to, because the book is releasing in September. So I'm gonna show you like a little bit. Like right now you don't see anything except for my color choices, but once it gets done and I like steek it and I finish it, I won't be showing how it looks on me until the book releases. But I am so pleased with how the colors have turned out and really happy with this make. So this is Jamieson's Spindrift. I can never tell the difference between the two. There's two. Shetland Spindrift is what this whole thing is, except for the red, because I had to substitute, like I had bought a white instead of the red, but I had to substitute, so I got something out of my stash, and it was like a Blacker Yarns 4-ply that I have. It's a moody red. And so this is the only non-spindrift color, but I'm very happy with this. This is gonna look really cool. And then I can wear it with a lot of base colors to pull out whichever contrast that I would like to. So that is the progress I've made. I've knit about 7 inches on that, and that is the progress I've made on my Fair Isle vest for Gudrun. Super excited about it. I forgot one whole work in progress. I mean, I've not done so much of it, but around the time when my hand was hurting a bunch, I decided that I needed a project that was knit on metal needles, wooden needles, because I had everything on metal needles. So this is a tiny beginning of, oops, it's inside out, of the, oh shoot, I forgot the name of it. Dornie. It's the Dornie pullover by Rebecca Clow, and I'm gonna put a picture of it on the screen. I have knit this pattern before for Biljit, and this time I'm knitting it in this beautiful blue for my professor. I've knit him a vest a few years ago, and he wears that vest a lot. He's very knit worthy, and I think I've been thinking of a sweater for him. I bought this yarn almost like 2 years ago, thinking I'll make this into a sweater for him because he really likes cables, and I wanted to knit him a fully cabled sweater. But he's also very tall, and he likes his sweater body length to be almost like 19 inches. So it was just like this daunting task in my head, and I didn't start the project, but then I did because my hands were hurting and I needed a new cast on. But right now it's kind of on a timeout while I finish my friend's modern twist, and once I do that, then I will get on this. The cast on is always the most fiddly thing, so I like to get it done so that when I'm done with that and I'm just ready to keep working on the cabling portion. And it's, I think this is just like a 2x2 cable. Is it 2x2? No, it's 4x4. But I can do this without using a cable needle. The modern twist is a bigger cable and the yarn is slippier, so I do use a cable needle, but it's far apart enough that it doesn't happen once in so many rows. But this one I can do without using cable needles, and this yarn is Direrum Natura Gilead. I love the yarn, you all already know that, and I have a bunch of it. Like I bought enough to make a long sweater for him. So I did want to quickly mention this new cast on, but of course there isn't that much to show on it. All right, I think that was everything whips. I will talk about one future cast on. I have been getting into this mode where I want to make more shawls. I want to make shawls for myself and also gifts for other people. I do have a couple of shawls that I use mostly, largely I just wear those all winter long. It's not that I don't wear shawls, it's that I don't feel the need to have a lot of shawls. So I have two and I just circulate those. And I don't care if they match or it don't match my outfit. I do whatever I feel like. But I have a colleague at work whose wife crochets a bunch, and I had done this thing where I had given them a packet of or a package of Indian spices with like a recipe for how to make chicken curry. And my colleague had made chicken curry and it had turned out really well. So as a thank you for that, his wife gave me a pumpkin patch. Basically, she crocheted a bunch of pumpkins because this was back in fall. She crocheted a bunch of pumpkins and they sit on my desk and I absolutely love looking at them. It's the sweetest thing ever. And then since Valentine's Day happened, she made a few hearts, and so he went and added hearts to my pumpkin patch. So she's been like taking care of this crochet pumpkin patch that sits on my desk, but she keeps adding things to it. It's so sweet. So I decided that she needs a shawl, and I do know from having spoken to her that she crochets, and I don't think she knits as much, but she has an allergy to wool, and so she only knits or crochets with certain type of yarns. So I decided that I would make her a shawl, and I'd make her a shawl in knitting for olive pure silk, held double. Not gonna hold it single, that's not gonna happen. This is the blue tit color and it is so beautiful. I think I've seen her a bunch in blue and green dresses, so I thought this would be a nice color for her. She has no idea this is happening, and I forget which shawl I wanted to knit her. And she also crochets, so I thought it'll be nice to gift her something knitted. And please bear with me while I open my Ravelry. So I have added a bunch of things that have been bringing me joy in my 2026 favorites on Ravelry. So if you do want to check out that bundle, you can do so. But it is this Fern field wrap. Look at that lace. It is so beautiful. I love it. This is a design by Lisa Hans. I don't know how to say that. That's the name of the designer, Haynes. And she has a bunch of beautiful shawls. So I thought that this would be a nice gift to make. It's a DK weight shawl, 22 stitch gauge. I'm not going to test for gauge. She knits it with US 7. I usually, when I don't test for gauge, I kind of by now know what gauge I get with what needles. So for a 22 stitch gauge, it's a US 5 or 6, usually 5. So I might just do US 5 and double stranded knitting for olive silk. And it's a shawl, it can be whatever, but I really like the look of that, and it's gonna be so nice. And here is how it looks if you just put it around your shoulders. That's gonna be so pretty. So I do want to knit shawls for myself too, but I thought I'll start with a gift knit. And I have to remind myself to cast it on with wooden needles because it's also silk yarn. It has no elasticity, and I think that's what hurts my hands usually. So that's that. I think that wraps up my knitting portion of this episode, and now I'm going to move on to some sewing. Okay, so sewing. I made a pair of jeans and 3 shirts in the last 1 month or so since we last spoke. I am part of the Closet Crew membership. I took the unlimited membership and they had a sale, I think last year or something. And I have been thoroughly enjoying being part of that. Like I can download the last year's catalog if I want. And then every month they come out with new patterns. I think from this month onwards, non-members can buy the crew patterns as well. And they just have to pay a bit more, which works out as well. And they came out with the Frank jeans, which is like a modular jeans pattern. It's a modular pattern where you have a mid-rise or a high-rise you can pick. And then there are 3 leg options: barrel leg, straight leg, and wide leg. So I made the high-rise wide leg in this mid-weight washed denim from Style Maker Fabrics. I wore it so much over the last month that currently it's sitting in my laundry bin. And the reason I'm not touching it is because I actually wore it to my work work trip this week, where I was, I didn't think, and those are the only pair of jeans I took along with my safety outfit. Like I went to a steel plant, so I took my flame resistant or flame retardant jeans, and so I wore those safety pants when I was out on site, but the rest of the time for 3 whole days I wore the Frank jeans I made. So they're pretty nasty and they need a wash, so I'm not touching it, but I took enough pictures that you can get an idea of how they fit me. I made a bunch of modifications in the sense that I graded between size 18 and 20 at the hips, 18 at the waist. I used the front rise of the size 18, back rise of size 20, and then I also did a full bum adjustment in the back and added a 1/2 inch to the back crotch curve. And this is because I measured what the crotch finished length of size 20 will be in the back. And from previous pants that I've made, I know I need like 19 inches in the back. So I added a bunch because I was only getting 18. They fit me perfectly. I did end up adding a elastic waist in the back because jeans do tend to stretch out and I didn't want them to become too loose, and it worked out perfectly. Though I want to make a pair of jeans without elastic in the back, and I have to figure out how to do that. I did not do any contrast top stitching. I did it as a dark wash so I could wear it to work, and I have been wearing it to work as well, and it's like my secret trousers, like work trousers, but they're actually denim. So they work really well and I'm super pleased with them. I did the 32-inch seam, but I think I need them to be a little shorter if I'm wearing it with like flats or something. With boots, they look okay, but I thoroughly enjoyed wearing them. I did also sign up for the jeans making course that Closet Core has, and I've been enjoying that as well. I'm not sponsored or anything. I want to try it out for a year and see if I like being part of this membership. And if not, I can always cancel. But so far I've been loving it and I do really like the Frank jeans. I do want to make another pair, a straight leg version. I have the pattern and everything taped and ready to go. I'm just waiting for the mojo to hit. All right. The next thing I made is a shirt for Biljit. So when I had done all the patterns, all the garments I made last year, I had talked about the Fairfield button-up for Biljit, and I had talked about how it fits him and everything. And then someone in the comments had mentioned that I should try the tropical shirt by Wardrobe by Me. And it turned out that I did have the pattern in my stash, and I had just been waiting for, the stars to align to test the pattern out. And I finally did it. So I graded between sizes because I had been talking about the shoulders being wider for Biljit now that he's been going to the gym. So what I did was I actually cut a bigger size on the top of the shoulder, and then from the underarm down, I cut the smaller size. So I kind of graded it a little out or in. And this fits him really well. This is a beautiful cotton linen blend fabric. I got this at Matchy Sewing Club. And initially I had thought that I'd make like a pair of trousers for myself, but I really like this blue on Biljit, and I decided that I'd make this for him. The pattern was lovely. I think in a few places, like I would have preferred to have more finishing, which I ended up doing. Like all along the scamp collar, I added like a top stitch or an edge stitch, which is not recommended in the pattern, but it kind of helps keep the facing towards the back. So there is a facing in the back, and it kind of helps to hold the facing together if you just like stitch along the edge of the whole shirt in the front. Other than that, I don't think I made any modifications. This is wrinkled because he's been wearing it a bunch. He is really happy with this shirt, and I think he's gotten a few compliments. People have looked at it and been like, oh my god, this is a very cute shirt. And he's obviously told them that I made it. Don't look at my stitching here. I don't know what I did, but I always put tags a little wonky. But I put a sewn slow tag, which I've also purchased from Matchy Matchy Sewing Club. And just regular little light blue buttons. And he is very happy with his tropical shirt. I think I'm gonna make more of these now that I understand what the construction is. Because I think I faltered a little or made certain things. Sometimes I increase the lengths of things to give myself more space to work with them, because if you're not exactly precise, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like the facing that ends on the inside here, you're supposed to tack it to the yoke, but you see there's like a little gap for me. If I make it again, I'm gonna cut this piece a little extra, and I can always trim it later, but it gives me room to work with things like that. Currently, I've only just done a zigzag stitch. It's on the inside, nobody cares. You can see it, and it's secure enough that it's not going anywhere. But you know, things like that I would like to know, and I feel like I don't come to know those things until I make it at least once. But it turned out really well. It has a split hem in the bottom. It's a little wrinkled because he's been wearing it. I did have to trim the length by almost an inch, more than an inch, to have it fit him well. But super happy with this particular shirt. So since I made him a shirt, I had to make myself a shirt, at least one shirt. So I made myself the Archer button-up by Grain Line Studio, and this is in a mid-weight cotton poplin from, again, Style Maker Fabrics. I did the whole, they have like a cute little cuff detail for the Archer shirt, and I did that. This turned out really well. I'm super happy with how it looks. It fits me really well. I'm gonna try take a video of me wearing this right after I finish recording today, because I didn't take a good picture of me in this particular shirt actually. Maybe I should do that today. I really love this pink. It looks really cute. I do think that my shoulder on this pattern has to be up here. This is a straight size 20, so I didn't make any modifications to it, but I do feel like my shoulders are smaller than the size 20, so they need to be a bit, like at least half an inch smaller. So yeah, otherwise it fits fine. Like it doesn't, when I'm wearing it, you don't feel like, oh, it's too big or whatever. I think it's very comfortable. Again, I put the same plastic buttons as on Baljit's shirt, but these are light pink. So this is one Grain Line Archer, and then I made myself another one, and this one I made in a beautiful linen. This is 100% linen fabric from Blackbird Fabrics. I didn't do that cuff detail. I thought one was enough. I don't know, I don't like things to be too fussy. I just like a plain old simple shirt. And when I was making this shirt, I got a little overconfident and decided that I can tell the back and front of all my pieces. So when I was sewing the collar on naturally, I sewed the collar on the wrong side of the shirt, which had been assembled, and my fronts have been reversed. But you can't really see that, like you won't come to know. I had to undo my bust darts and kind of flip them around because it was on the wrong side. It was a whole thing. I had to remove the pocket and put it on the other side because my front pieces were reversed after I'd put the collar on. So next time I will take the extra step of just taping my wrong side with a painter's tape like I usually do. Super pleased with this shirt. I took a very nice picture of this yesterday when I was leaving for work because I wore it to work yesterday, and I put some brown wooden, they're not wooden, I think they're plastic with wooden look buttons on this, and I am so pleased. I did not bother changing my serging thread, so you can see the pink serging. All in all, super happy with the Archer shirt. And I have another one that I cut out in a plum color, which was supposed to be with this vest, but then I realized that it goes well with this layering t-shirt, and then I didn't bother about the plum shirt, but I have to sew that because I already cut the fabric. So I am thoroughly enjoying making all these collars and button-ups. I used to wear button-ups a lot when I was a preteen. I want to say from ages like 9 onwards. And then when I became I think when I was like 18, 19 or whatever, like they stopped fitting me well because they would gape in the front, and I got too conscious about it. Obviously, I didn't like that whole, you used to wear like a spaghetti under it and you can just see like a little triangle of the spaghetti top. Like I didn't like that look a lot, so I stopped wearing shirts altogether. But now that I can sew my own and they don't gape in the front, I'm back in love with them. So I do have plans to make more. I want to make the Rivi shirt, which is a new pattern by I think True Bias, where they have like a diagonal, they use stripes really smartly, and the yoke has it like cuts across the top like that. That looks really cute, so I might try that. The Closet Core crew membership has a March pattern coming out tomorrow, which is also supposed to be a shirt, so I'm just waiting for that because I don't have to pay for that. I already paid for my membership, so I can download the shirt pattern and get sewing. So that was all my sewing updates and all the things that I've finished. I'm not gonna do like a work in progress or whatever for sewing. I just have a few plans, but I'll show them as and when I finish them. I have thoroughly been enjoying pairing my sewing with my knitting. Like when I made the shirt, I did try on the shirt with this particular vest, but like I mentioned, I think the shirt is a little too long. But I wouldn't make the shirt smaller because then I can, shorter, because then I can't tuck it as well as I'd like to, and then I can't leave it outside because the shirt looks too much longer than the vest. So I have to tuck the shirt in and then wear the vest over it. I'm spiraling right now, but I'm trying to figure out how to style things so I can get more different outfits in my wardrobe. But when I do figure out how to wear this vest with this shirt and with the jeans I made, I'm gonna put a picture of it for you to see. That's that. I think I spoke so much in the last 1 hour or so. Otherwise, life has been going on as usual. I have been working a bunch. Some new projects have started that are keeping me busy for the next foreseeable future, but I'm hoping that I'm not gonna slow down the knitting as I did last year. I feel like maybe in the beginning of the year I have more energy than the later half of the year. The other thing I've been thinking about is what knitting trips I'd like to take this year. I think I may want to do Flock or Rhinebeck. I haven't decided. It depends on if any of my friends are going, but I would really like to take a knitting trip. I feel like it's been a while since I've gone on a knitting trip. I will have to go to a trip within the US, not outside the US, and I won't get into the reasons around that. But I think I'm trying to figure out what knitting related trips I can take this year. It's always nice to book them and then look forward to the event. Yeah, and tomorrow we're actually going to my professor's house for dinner. So I'm gonna be wearing this vest, and that will be the first outing of this vest anywhere, just because since I finished it, like I had been traveling for work and then I didn't get a chance to wear it to work even. So tomorrow will be the first day I get to wear it, other than just, wearing it now for all of you. yeah, I think that's about it. If you are one of the winners of the giveaway, please reach out to me, and you can message me on Instagram, or you can send me an email. I think it's skeinsofdreamsknits@gmail.com. Or if you can, just leave another comment on my video that you're the winner, and I can find a way to contact you. And thank you so much for watching my video until the end. If you're still here, I have really been enjoying coming to you once a month and giving you updates. I feel like this is a more manageable schedule for me, and this is something I can put on the books as something I will do at the end of the month, and so it's a bit more easy to commit to it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all stay safe. I will see you next time. Until then, happy making. Bye.